Today, we're diving deep into a significant chapter of history, one that holds lessons for industries and communities worldwide. The Bhopal disaster of 1984 wasn't just an event. It was a turning point that underscored the dire consequences of neglecting safety and environmental standards. Join us as we unravel the events leading up to that fateful night, the devastating aftermath, and the profound lessons we must carry forward. Before we delve in, if you find this content insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations. Now, let's journey back to 1984 and understand what truly transpired in Bhopal. Bhopal, the capital city of Madhya Pradesh, India, was once best known for its rich history, picturesque lakes, and vibrant culture. Nestled amidst a lush green landscape, it was a melting pot of traditions and innovations, with its grand mosques, palaces, and bustling markets. Yet, by the 1980s, factories began to sprout up, and among them was the Union Carbide Corporation's pesticide plant. The American-based Union Carbide Corporation envisioned their Bhopal plant as a beacon of progress, an initiative aimed at assisting the nation's burgeoning agricultural sector. However, behind this promising venture lurked underlying issues that would soon spell doom for the unsuspecting city. Established in a populous area, just a short distance from the main railway station and the city's residential quarters, the plant's location was itself a matter of concern for some. Many locals were employed, but the plant's operations were shrouded in a cloud of corporate decisions made far away from Bhopal. Cost-cutting became the hidden agenda, sidelining safety and maintenance. Basic safety protocols were ignored, emergency plans were non-existent, and the workforce was inadequately trained to handle potential chemical hazards. While the factory was seen by many as a sign of industrial progress, a combination of its strategic location, oversight in safety measures, and a lack of transparency set the backdrop for an imminent tragedy in the heart of Bhopal. As 1984's calendar marked the end of November, the Union Carbide plant continued its operations, many of its storage tanks brimming with volatile chemicals. Tank E610 in particular housed 42 tons of a highly reactive chemical, methyl isocyanate, or MIC. MIC is used in the production of pesticides and is volatile and lethal when exposed to the environment. On the night of December 2nd, a series of unfortunate events began to unfold. Due to a lack of proper safety protocols, water from routine cleaning processes accidentally entered tank E610. This was a grave error, as MIC reacts violently with water, producing a large amount of heat and gas. This water-induced reaction in the tank led to an exothermic reaction, causing the temperature and pressure inside to rise at an alarming rate. The vent gas scrubber, a safety device designed to neutralize toxic discharge from the mix system, had been turned off 3 weeks prior, with the safety systems either malfunctioning or in non-operational mode, and the flare tower, which was supposed to burn off MIC vapor, being non-functional. There were no safety systems intact to prevent the looming catastrophe. Compounding the problem, the plant's coolant system, designed to keep MIC at a stable temperature, was also malfunctioning. As the reaction became uncontrollable, the gasket seals gave way under the enormous pressure. In the early hours of December 3rd, the tank released an enormous cloud of noxious MIC gas, heavier than air, which began its deadly descent onto the city below. Moving with the wind, it engulfed neighborhoods, turning streets into death traps and homes into gas chambers. Residents of Bhopal, awakened by the pungent burning sensation in their eyes and throats, faced an invisible enemy that gave neither warning nor mercy. Confusion, panic, and terror filled the air, paralleling the deadly gas that was claiming lives by the minute. The dawn of December 3rd unveiled an apocalyptic scene. The once bustling city of Bhopal had turned eerily silent, with streets littered with the bodies of humans, buffaloes, cows, dogs, and birds. The immediate death toll was approximately 3,800, but many placed that amount much higher, with around 5,000 victims. However, the lingering effects of the gas would continue to harm for decades to come. Those who survived the initial exposure faced a plethora of severe health challenges: respiratory distress, eye problems including permanent blindness, and neurological disorders became rampant. People complained of breathlessness, persistent coughs, diminished vision, and severe fatigue. Children born in the years that followed often exhibited developmental disorders, physical deformities, and an array of health complications. But the human cost was only one facet of this tragedy. The environment also bore the scars of that fateful night. Soil and groundwater in and around Bhopal became heavily contaminated. Mick, along with other toxins released, leached into the ground, turning the land barren and poisoning water sources. For years, the very essence of life, water, became a silent killer, causing ailments ranging from skin disorders to cancers. Some estimates place the number of persons affected by this disaster at over 500,000 residents. Fishing, a primary livelihood for many in the nearby lakes, suffered immensely. Fish populations dwindled due to the toxicity, and what few remained were often unsafe for consumption. The rich flora and fauna of the region faced devastation, with many species either disappearing or showing signs of genetic mutations. As international and national attention turned to Bhopal, debates raged over accountability, compensation, and remediation. The legacy of the disaster wasn't just in the immediate loss of life or even the long-term health effects. It was also reflected in the ecological devastation, the economic ruin of many families, and the persistent mistrust towards industrial entities and their safety protocols. The Bhopal disaster stands as a somber testament to the long shadow that a single night's tragedy can cast, affecting generations, ecosystems, and the very fabric of a community. While Union Carbide claimed intentional sabotage of the mix system and only paid $470 million to settle the claim, most experts agree that there were catastrophic failures in the safety system that led to disastrous results. The Bhopal disaster was not just an unfortunate incident, it was a culmination of multiple lapses, oversights, and willful negligence. Reflecting upon it, we can discern clear lessons and actions that could have, and should have, been taken to prevent such a tragedy. Firstly, location and infrastructure planning. The plant was situated dangerously close to densely populated areas. Industries dealing with hazardous materials should be located away from residential zones. This spatial separation is the first line of defense against potential industrial mishaps. Secondly, rigorous safety protocols. Every potential risk should be met with a corresponding safety protocol. Regular safety drills, equipment checks, and updated training should be mandatory. The malfunctions of critical safety systems, such as the coolant system and flare tower at Bhopal, should never have been overlooked. Next, transparency and communication. Open channels of communication between the workers, management, and the local community are essential. Had there been a clear understanding of the risks involved, residents could have been better prepared, and workers could have taken prompt action. Lastly, accountability and oversight. Regulatory bodies should possess the power and resources to monitor, inspect, and enforce stringent safety and environmental standards, even U.S. companies doing business overseas. Companies must be held accountable for their actions, ensuring that profit never takes precedence over safety. Incidents like this, and a similar incident that occurred in Institute, West Virginia the following year, led to the passage of the Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, commonly referred to as SARA Title III, in 1986. Its purpose is to encourage and support emergency planning efforts at the state and local levels, and to provide the public and local governments with information concerning potential chemical hazards present in their communities. Unfortunately, it was too late for the citizens of Bhopal, India. In conclusion, the Bhopal disaster serves as a poignant reminder of the catastrophic consequences of neglecting safety and environmental standards. As we remember this tragedy, let us pledge to prioritize safety, transparency, and accountability in every industrial venture. By internalizing and acting upon these lessons, we can ensure that such a disaster never recurs in our global community. If this deep dive has impacted you as much as it has us, please consider sharing it to spread awareness. And as always, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the National Association of Safety Professionals channel for more NASP content that delves into crucial moments from our past. Let's learn, grow, and ensure that history doesn't repeat itself. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you in the next video.